Middlemen.
Welcome to the Middlemen on Enterprise TV, where truth has no filter and justice has no favorites. This is where everyday voices rise, power gets questioned, and hard conversations find a home. Today, we bring you powerful cases and verdicts that challenge the norm. Our juror from Rabbi presents This Country Is Producing Madmen, a bold case spotlighting the rise of angry, unfiltered, disruptive voices in our society frustrated by failed leadership. But Juror Evans questions their fire and zeal if they're leading us to more chaos or progress. Juror Emeka presents Cracking Nigeria's Electricity Code, a breakdown of how Enugu State is creatively navigating power tariffs. By reducing the Band A rates, the state shows that strategic subsidy management and metering expansion can turn the electricity crisis into a workable solution. Juror Henry Igwebike presents Emilokan syndrome is the weed growing in our backyard. This case is a critique of Nigeria's growing culture of political entitlement. He argues that the Emilokan mindset, which is now fueling defections and opportunism across states, is eroding values and choking true leadership. I, Juror Jumoke James, will challenge Nigerians with my case, Corruption, Nigerian Culture. My case exposes how corruption has become Nigeria's most unifying trait. From petty bribes to grand embezzlement, we're all feeding the same system we claim to hate. And until we change that culture, Nigeria will remain the same. All of these conversations and more will come your way right after this short break. Take your seat, jurors. The session begins right now.
Middlemen. Middlemen.
Thanks for staying with us. My case, Corruption, Nigerian Culture. There's no Nigerian culture because we're a people of many nations. There are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Tiv, Ibibio, Fulani, etc. cultures. But one phenomenon that seems not to discriminate regardless of which part of the country you're from is corruption. Religious beliefs regardless. There's a gentleman on X, Salako. For days, he has been exposing the sordid past of Nigeria's leaders. From cases with EFCC, arrests abroad, imprisonment, and forfeitures, he gives details of the amounts embezzled, and the statistics are staggering. Trillions in dollars. Absolutely unbelievable. You need to read his tweets and research the facts. If those amounts were used to build infrastructure in Nigeria, we would be the greatest country in the world. Is corruption the indisputable Nigerian culture? Burkina Faso is the fourth fastest growing country in the world. Ghana has the best performing currency in the world. Those are our West African brothers. Nigeria has corruption, and we love it like that. I mean, explain it to me. How we are the people who defend these leaders, the poverty capital of the world, arguably the richest country, with both human and material resources, we defend our thieves. They become our rulers, spend lavishly on luxury for themselves and their cronies, and we just keep hustling every day, from hand to mouth. Nament. The colonialists came bearing gifts. We received them with open arms, and they turned us to slaves. Today, with that same mentality, we bow to our ruiners, hoping to get a morsel of bread from their tables and oppress our fellow victims. God punish poverty. So anyone who gets into political circles and makes it big, we envy them. We want to be like them. So we do not question our culture of corruption. Except it's the opposition benefiting, that is. We empower our slave masters, willingly submitting to their authorities, Because tell me how 20,000 people can control the wealth of 200 million of us and have not run them over. It must be that we approve of our culture of corruption, waiting to be the next in line to benefit directly or indirectly. I mean, in our small spheres of influence daily, we cheat the system, demand bribes, inflate contracts, and celebrate wealth without enterprise. Here's my verdict. We are all corrupt. That's our new culture. Nothing binds us more. We have religious homes in every street and no righteousness. That's why people do whatever it takes to acquire wealth, legal or not, and we all clap for them. Only a small percentage of Nigerians will not steal across tribes and religions when the opportunity is given to them. Gone are the days you left your wares in the market with number of cowries to signify price. Today, you would meet an empty store if you tried it. And we all know how to point accusing fingers at the leaders. Yet, we are exactly like them. Corruption is our new culture, and until it changes, things will not change in Nigeria.
Yeah. I would say that as a judge of conscience, this case submits to the authority that the masses don't think.
Ewo.
Yes. The reason they call them the masses, in some countries they call them critical mass. That's where you have masses that respond to their frustration. But in our own case, by our docility and our inability to articulate our misfortune, it submits clearly and squarely to the authority that the masses don't think. Now, look at the way Nigeria is run currently. Do you know that recently Tinubu told the public that he has paid off our debt? Do you know that was a lie?
And we all believed it too. In fact, we started arguing.
Yeah.
We started arguing. Oh, it's true. It's IMF. It's COVID borrowing.
They converted it to one something bond, and they gave us an extension of 40 years.
That's the ways and means that Emefiele granted Buhari.
Yes.
And the ways and means that Tinubu took, which came to 30 trillion.
Yeah, because they know that they have destroyed our school system.
And we don't read.
And we don't read. And many of us are economists who could barely understand figures and how to appropriate numbers. So they can throw those things.
You know, people with master's degrees and PhD were arguing that it paid off our debt.
It will say
people who went to look for a job with Pella.
Yes.
How do you argue with such people?
Yes. So
is there no purpose to life?
See, it's bad enough that our leaders are not governing us well, but it's much more so that
we, the followers,
have no bearing on. The followers people generally fall into three groups.
Please remind me of that your very popular saying.
Yes, I'm going there. I'm going there. I shared it this morning. People generally fall into three groups. They few, the many that watch things happen. The few that make things happen. And the overwhelming majority of those who have no notion of what happens. I'm telling you, over 90% of our population have no notion of what happens in this country. And so we are not able to, we cannot even protest, because each time you call people to come and protest, not many of them will understand why what exactly is the...
What we want exactly.
Because if you look at the history of Nigeria, look at the time of the 1993 Abiola saga down to Peter Obi's movement, the obedient movement, and the rest of that, and the many attempts we have made to change our story. But you see, just when we are at the verge of changing our story, when the average Nigerian remembers his fellowship with poverty, he changes and thwarts the course and embraces that fellowship. So we'll go back to where we're coming from and we'll start all over again.
To embrace our poverty.
Yeah, that circle of poverty in perpetuity, we keep recycling it.
One generation to the next.
Yes, because look at the NSAS. We're at the verge of making a difference. Before you know it, some citizens went and colluded with the politicians. And then they were stepping down from the SUVs, you understand, to thwart the process.
Very true.
You understand? Because having granted the end of SARS, and started making further demands.
Yeah.
One or two would have been granted if we persisted.
Very true.
But we turned the story around, and at the end of the day, see where we are. So if Nigeria is going to ever change, it's not going to change because the people are ready for that change. It's going to take maybe some other kind of forces. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Just like what happened in 1998. After Abacha had said, no alternative, that he was the only
candidate for 5 political parties.
And Abacha died. That turned a lot of things around.
The only candidate for 5 political parties.
That kind of intervention is rare.
Very rare.
But I can still bring others. I can bring others. In 2007, El-Rufai was one. In fact, El-Rufai, after Obasanjo's third term bid failed, El-Rufai was one of those who were campaigning to take the PDP's presidential ticket. Umar Yar'Adua was on his own. He was just going about, not knowing that Obasanjo had him in mind. So at the end of the day, what's the name? Peter Odili, governor of Rivers State then, spent so much money and everything, put his delegates, took care of the hotel rooms and all of that. But the EFCC forced him to step down at Enugu Square. And then Yar'Adua was just brought in. They looked around, who can we? They were looking at. And then they pointed to Goodluck Jonathan. Who, of all the governors, was
ambition,
the most docile, nothing. But what happened? Because El-Rufai could not stand Yar'Adua, he left. After he tried to ingratiate himself with Yar'Adua, thinking he would become Minister of Power. But somehow it didn't work out, and he left. He himself and Ribadu went on exile. And then, after some time, Yar'Adua died. So, the thing with Nigeria is that certain deaths, the politicization, the role that death has been playing in Nigeria since Nigeria's independence is something that needs to be studied.
Okay, but would you say the death of Yar'Adua was an intervention? Because it looks to me like we lost out.
Yeah. It was an intervention in the sense that the Niger Delta was already getting restive. And it was drilling down to total annihilation of
because he was already giving them scholarship to calm them down.
Yeah, he was calming them down. But Jonathan came in.
And he was their own
and brother. That was a major... Because Niger Delta, by the way, had already even started dropping... Oil production dropped.
Yeah.
But
around 2009.
Once their brother got in, they calmed down.
Hold on. Before their brother got in,
there
was absolute calm because there was amnesty. Yar'Adua had given amnesty and they really surrendered wholeheartedly. They believed him.
Yes.
They believed him and they surrendered.
Perhaps they are believing that if he stayed alive.
Yeah, perhaps they believe him also because Jonathan was there as deputy.
Yes.
As vice.
Yes.
Okay, but that calmed things down. But what I'm saying that his further demise, that demise, was that an intervention for us? Because I see that like
no,
he set us back.
We stumbled.
The thing is this:
but Nigeria grew under Jonathan.
Nigeria grew.
Yes, but the economy was rebased.
But you see, Jonathan didn't have people who could have helped him to stamp his authority. Because if you remember, Buhari said after the 2015 election he will not run again. He will not run again. But what happened? Jonathan allowed his relationship with Tinubu to deteriorate. His relationship with other political forces, Amechi and the rest of them, to deteriorate. And that now led to the APC coalition. By the time he realized what was going on, it was too late. It was too late.
You meant 2011.
No, I meant 2015. APC came on board in 2013.
No, 2015.
So, no, April 14, 2013.
I get what you mean.
Was when
they formed the party.
What I'm saying is that in 2011,
okay,
Jonathan met with Tinubu in Lagos and told him, support me, don't block my election.
And they left it for him.
He met with Obasanjo. Please, Obasanjo gave him conditions. Tinubu gave him conditions.
I get what you mean now.
But along the line, when Jonathan won, he reneged on those conditions. Okay. And there was no pathway to succession. He didn't have any direct dialogue with the North. That, okay, this is my plan.
Yeah, he was doing our jury schools for them.
Not enough.
They needed something. Your people have been settled with your presidency. Where one of us, okay, fine, we're having insurgency on Nigeria. What about the North that was suffering Boko Haram?
Although this is a digression, I disagree a little bit, because if Atiku had not led the new PDP candidates to join that coalition, ACN joining CPC alone, North and West, could not have done it.
They could,
because
if Jonathan had kept to the agreement he had with Tinubu and Obasanjo, there was no way. But what Jonathan did was he chose to antagonize Tinubu by setting him up in that code of conduct, trial. So if not, you see, the thing is this:
our new culture is corruption.
Now, corruption. You see, corruption has been there in Nigeria far back from before independence. In fact, as a matter of fact, the amalgamation of Nigeria was based on corruption, because they felt that, okay, the Southern Protectorate and Lagos had the money that they could use to do all the funny things they were doing in the North to fund. So you see, the decision to amalgamate was just a quick one. Remember, was it after the First World War also that Britain reached out to its colonies? It was looking for assistance, including Nigeria. Yes. It reached out to its colonies.
Yes, but there was
no organized pathway to the future. So why corruption remains is because there is no organized pathway out of poverty. Not just poverty, out of even corruption or whatever. There is none.
Well, for me, I sincerely think corruption, no country is immune to it. No country is immune to it. Historically, it is believed that a country with less diversity is prone to more corruption, and a country with more diversity, because of the differences we check ourselves, we check and balance and all. Historically, that's how it's been. But in the case of Nigeria, it's beginning to look like the more our diversity, the more corrupt we are.
No, because the leaders they are very united on top.
Before
it is we the masses that are divided.
Before now, if you compare our rate of corruption, let me just give a very simple example with the DRC. From the days of Mobutu to the days of Kabila father and his son, to the now of Tshisekedi, it was pronounced corruption all through. And the reason majorly was because they all spoke similar language, the same culture, just a very, despite the large population and the land mass they had. So it was easier to have corruption there. On the side of Nigeria, we would have thought that the checks and the balance of one culture, one religion of different types would check us. But we are becoming more united.
Hold on. Let me address it. Yeah, you see, we have one language actually in Nigeria when it comes to
corruption,
a balance between the elite and the masses. The elite have one language.
One language.
So you may be talking about ethnic, tribal, and that's what you are referring to in the case of DRC Congo.
Yes, because you talked about that we are now becoming part of the elite.
Look at yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at yesterday.
The elite themselves.
Yes.
They don't know tribe, they don't know religion, they don't know anything. So that's what I'm saying. It's still one language. That's why the corruption.
That buttresses the case.
One language in a metaphoric sense. In the case of Nigeria,
I get what you mean.
That they will take everything, whatever is left, they will now call the masses to come and check whether there's anything left. That's exactly what they're doing. And I wanted to add to the earlier idea that was raised by us, whether Buhari's demise was
The other one.
no Buhari.
Buhari's own now.
Buhari's demise
Yes.
because he's dead now.
It has created a vacuum
It
in
has
the north.
created a vacuum.
I'm
God
asking
bless
in the
you.
north.
I'm
Who is
asking.
going to lead the north
Hold
now?
on. I'm asking whether it's an intervention.
It is.
It is.
Ah,
It is.
nobody
It is
is going
going
to bring in the
it is going
10
to-
million,
no,
12 million.
It is going to-
Kwankwaso is bringing 20 million.
He won't.
I beg you.
Kwankwaso
President
doesn't.
of Ghana.
Kwankwaso can. Kwankwaso is Hausa. He's not Fulani. Whoever.
The only person,
President of Ghana.
the only person close to Buhari as we speak now is Kwankwaso.
No.
El-Rufai.
El-Rufai.
El-Rufai Ghana, they what Kwankwaso will
All
Ghana.
of them are
Kwankwaso
divided.
can't gather anything outside Kano. In fact, the day Kwankwaso, I write it down. The day Kwankwaso declares that
That is joining
he's joining
That's the
APC.
head of his whatever.
One, you know he has been expelled from his party, NNPP.
Remember that.
You know he's partyless.
Ewo.
Kwankwaso right now has no party.
President of Kano.
But-
I say all the masses are
Hold on.
divided.
But
the
you know-
people,
you know that-
the followers of Buhari, they now have plenty leaders. It's an intervention.
You know
for
that
Nigeria.
he churning
We have to take
18.
it.
You know that he churning 18 million votes. Where they are saying that maybe cartels were added.
No.
Let me tell you.
Beavers will not
Let
allow
me tell
anybody
you.
bring the
There is
18
a
million votes
strategic
again.
reason why the coalition has been pushing out photographs of El-Rufai.
But have
It's
you,
very strategic.
have you noticed that Obasanjo, Tinubu had a meeting with him just
With Kwankwaso.
Yes, a few
Oh,
days ago.
Kwankwaso is the one who has even been begging to have an
Gentlemen.
audience with Tinubu.
We were discussing corruption.
Yes, so you see the thing with...
We will
yes.
take a quick.
Yes.
And when we return, Juror Evans will be here to present his case titled, "This Country Is Producing Madmen." Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Middleman. 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 Middleman.
Thank you for staying with us. This is still the Middlemen of Jurors on Enterprise TV. My case: this country is producing madmen. In the area of today's socio-political landscape, a new wave of figures have emerged, epitomizing both the desperation for change and the chaos of our times. Individuals like the VeryDarkMan, Scott Iguma, Showore, Randy Peters, Portable, and Aisha Yesufu, etc., have become prominent voices, captivating the attention of a populace eager for transformation, but often left disillusioned by traditional leaders. These figures, often labeled as madmen, harness social media and other platforms to amplify their messages, challenging established norms and voicing the frustration of a generation. Their antics, driven by raw emotions and unapologetic authenticity, resonates with those who feel unheard in a system that seems rigged against them. Yet, this authenticity brings with it a complex web of reactions. Some viewers see them as fierce advocates for change, while others regard them as provocateurs, prioritizing spectacles over substance. The emergence of this phenomenon can be traced back to the prevailing discontent in society. With rampant corruption, economic instability, and a growing sense of disenfranchisement, many are drawn to these unconventional figures as a counter-narrative to political apathy. However, are these voices genuinely leading us towards progress, or are they contributing to a culture of chaos and polarizing ideologies? My verdict: as we navigate this chaotic era, it is critical to engage critically with the messages being broadcasted by these madmen. While their contribution to the discourse is undeniable, we must seek out leaders who not only challenge the status quo, but also advocate for constructive dialogue and collective solutions. Only then can we ensure that our pursuit for change does not dissolve into mere madness, but evolve into a movement grounded in hope and unity. I shall go to Rabbi again.
Interesting case, Rabbi. And I think that the more madmen we have who are criticizing what it is that all of us are against, and using their platforms, you can pick out a few people if they're just a few. But if all of us are saying the same thing across social media, which is why something will trend on X, for instance, if all of us are talking about the Senate president is being corrupt by not allowing Natasha into the Senate, it will trend because all of us are saying the same thing. And because everybody is saying it, you cannot pick out an individual to punish, or harass, or say, you are violating the law on what they call the cyberbullying, So I think I like our madmen. There should be more mad people, all of us criticizing what is wrong and praising what is right. However, like our last conversation, because all of us are corrupt, waiting in line to get into position to chop our own, you will still see many people defending what is obviously wrong because it is their principal that has committed the crime.
Well, the only difference between the madmen of today and the madmen before now, in the 60s, we had madmen like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. We had madmen like Emilokan, who fought against feudalism in the north. We had madmen like Tariffs. We had madmen like Wole Soyinka. They were all madmen of the 60s. Fela and Nicola Okuti. They are all madmen, but they were more intelligent madmen who understood what they were fighting for. Yes, and so many of them. They were all madmen, but they understood what they were fighting for. And they were fighting for things that were good for everyone. It wasn't based on self-gratification. It wasn't based on being famous or popular or getting rich and so on and so forth. The difference between those madmen and the madmen of now is that you don't even know where they are based. You can equally call Ren Omoke a madman. But what kind of madman is he?
In favor of our oppressors.
No, he's all over the place. He's a madman, but the madman that is all over the place. Right, so there are a list of them all over the place. So we need to distinct the nature of madness that each of them bring to the table.
But the thing is that we get drawn to them because they're saying each madman that we get drawn to, they're saying the things that we want to say.
But Ojukwu was a madman.
Which
we don't
want that kind of madness.
Right from his home, he rejected. I mean, he was well schooled, he went to Oxford, but he rejected his father's pathway for him. And then, of course, he joined the military against, his father's wishes. And look at how he went, of course, challenging, what he felt was, the way the people from the Igbos were treated, and of course, he took the East into a civil war.
We don't want that kind of
then, no, you see, let me tell you, it's not about we. Like the previous case, what Barrister was talking about, that there are certain things unusually that just come up and they turn the society in a different direction.
It is unsafe to say that.
For instance, no, I'm coming. For instance, look at a Peter B, refined and all of that. trying to go to Benue State to offer humanitarian assistance. And look at what the governor and his aides turned it into. But a very dark man went there and mobilized people, and you couldn't do anything about his presence. So now, how come we reject the refined, the refined ones who, not even madmen, people who are refined, who have a message, and we now prefer to listen
the difference
to the madmen.
Was VeryDarkMan just entered the plane and went to Benue. Peter Obi, being a political figure, must have approached the government.
He wrote the governor, yes.
But if you look at when he announced that he was going to Edo, our Okpebolu, D7, D8, said, don't come here, don't come and share money. But when he just entered plane and went, could they stop him? They couldn't.
Now, I think it is safe to say, based on the dynamics of the madmen theory, it is safe to say that every generation
has his own
produces its own kind of madmen. Today, you are talking about these current madmen, contemporary madmen being selfish or being self-centered. You know, when you look at the society itself, the society that is producing them, because this society produces them from discontent.
Yes.
Everybody is frustrated. There was a time I never knew that I have Ndokwa brothers who could stand on the road and say, give us light today or nothing. I never knew. I was doing advocacy alone. I became frustrated. When I became frustrated, I had to sue the governor alone. I went to court alone that the governor must do the right thing.
And they were chasing after you.
And they started chasing me up and down. And at the end of the day, I just discovered recently that we have madmen in Ndokwa land who are ready to stand on the road, stand on the sun, to fight this same battle. So every generation, the universe will always throw up.
Because the universe does not like a vacuum.
Yes, it always throw up this set of persons who will take, I mean, the generation that took the gospel from Jesus was Peter, James, John, and the rest of them. And no, those ones who took it over. But when Paul came and intercepted when he was struck down by the Holy Spirit himself, and Jesus appeared unto him, and
he became a madman.
He became a madman and took the gospel to a different level entirely.
They were beating him up and down.
Anywhere he goes, there was a place where they stoned him. They
thought he was dead.
They thought he was dead. He just stood up and took his men and started. So he became another species entirely. So every generation will always have that. I think the universe is just.
Yeah.
The universe have a way of placing people
Where
around.
will the just universe free Nigerians from their madness?
That is a question that the universe only can answer. Because the universe have made attempts. I mean, all those deaths and all that we talked about before, in your case, were orchestration of the universe, administration of the universe. But when the universe will decide that this country will change, I don't think anyone can question how do you question the universe? How do you commune with the universe in the first place? Or to get to know what the universe is
God,
let me just quickly chip this thought in. I had some days ago that look at Israel after the crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ. They said, okay, during the trial, they said, give us Barabbas.
Yes.
Crucify him.
Yes.
They rejected his message and everything. 70 years later, General Titus, a Roman general, invaded Jerusalem. And they now remembered what Solomon said in his prayer. Said in his prayer that if your people come to this temple and they look to you,
forgive them.
So they ran to the temple and
looked up
Titus killed. So they said the way blood was flowing on the streets of Jerusalem from the temple. So just tying it with Barister's last intervention, that if we reject what we have before us to turn this country around, let us remember that we are going to come to a sorry pass. That nature, the universe, God will throw before us and it will reset this country. It's going to happen. It's not about whether, I mean, look at the French Revolution. Look at the various revolutions across the world. Look at what happened in Burkina Faso.
Very true.
Look at, there was Captain Thomas Sankara, who was betrayed by his own comrade.
People took him out.
And then it now, he was now dancing with France and others. But what happened? A Traore, a man of the street. Because Sankara was refined, gentle, very speaking fine, French,
This one don't understand.
This one is a man of the street, is a typical madman on the street who is not only in government, like Babangida said, but is also in power. And Sankara didn't confront France. He just wanted to run Burkina Faso well. But this one, he's poking his fingers in the eyes of France and all of that, and America, telling them that you can't do anything,
and they cannot do anything,
and they can't do anything to him. Very so true. Nigeria, if we're not careful,
we must get to that point.
It will get to that point.
Very true.
Well, I just hope so.
Very well. So we'll take a short break, and when we return, Juror Emeka Madunago will step in with a case titled "Cracking Nigerians' Electricity Code." You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.
No, but I can see it too from you.
Middleman. Middleman. Middleman.
The punching of jurors. In the hallowed halls of justice, where echoes of truth intertwine with whispers of despair, there stands Jumoke Alawode James, a radiant figure sculpted by the universe, with a beauty akin to a stallion galloping through fields of reckoning. Clad in the armor of eloquence, her voice pierces the thick veil of complacency, unraveling cases that cradle the very essence of Nigeria's collective agony. She stands a sentinel over a nation laid bare, beckoning it to rise from the ashes of its own dissolution, crying out for a redemption that dances just beyond reach. Next emerges Evans Ufeli, a sage, with a heart that beats in harmony with the rhythm of justice, an advocate driven by a fervent dream of egalitarian dawn. Each week, he unfolds a scroll of cases bestowed upon him by the wise rabbi, a craft woven with threads of profound thought and searing urgency. His lamentation for the plight of the people rises like a haunting melody, reverberating through a land where self-inflicted wounds twist the tendrils of allegiance into knots of a servitude, traded for nothing more than a pittance, a morsel of bread amidst the hunger of the soul. Then strides forth Emeka Madunago, a linguistic maestro, armed with knowledge as dense as the forest, each word a carefully sharpened arrow aimed at the heart of injustice. He ventures onto this hallowed platform armed with...
Thanks for still being here. My case. Cracking Nigeria's electricity code. A few days ago, the Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission reduced Band A tariff in the state from 209 naira set by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to 160 naira. That was a major price slash, you might say. It was good news to Nigerians who were disappointed when Aba Power Limited reversed its earlier price to 99 naira per kilowatt hour and subsequently said that Band A non-MD, A MD1 and A MD2, meaning maximum demand, would from January 2025 be paying 219 naira 70 kobo per kilowatt hour, 236.41 per kilowatt hour, and 241.44 per kilowatt hour respectively. That was a big disappointment coming from APL anyway. But going by the explanations of the Enugu Regulatory Authority and analysis by experts, the state government may have decided to crack the code and turn a difficult situation into an oasis of opportunities. For Enugu State, the federal government pays 68% monthly as electricity subsidy, while the state government sorts out the remaining 34% based on an invoice provided by the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. Now, talking about out of 100%, you know. So it's like saying that for every 100 naira power consumed, the federal government pays 68 naira. Based on the available multi-year tariff order, the total cost of power generation is 112 naira per kilowatt hour. So instead of Abuja billing Enugu Disco 112 per kilowatt hour for the cost of power, they charge them 39 naira 2 kobo per kilowatt hour, representing about 65% in subsidy, according to an expert. The cost reflective tariff of Enugu Disco is 203 naira per kilowatt hour. The Band A tariff, as earlier said by NEC, is 209 per kilowatt hour, while for Band B to E is around 60 naira per kilowatt hour. So this means that Abuja subsidizes, talking about the federal government, subsidizes bands B to E. That's why the state government froze those bands. The Band A tariff, as earlier said by NEC, is 209 naira per kilowatt hour, while for Band B to E is around 60 naira per kilowatt hour. Since Band A takes 40% of the monthly consumption, it decided it made sense to charge its subscribers a cost-reflective tariff in order to reduce the subsidy on the other bands. So according to the direct remittance obligation, Enugu State must ensure the payment of whatever accrues from the 39 naira 2 kobo per kilowatt hour monthly. In the first 3 months of 2025, Enugu Disco consumed 78 billion naira worth of power, but NBET only charged it 31.07 billion. So far, they have settled 30.84 billion, representing 99% of their DRO. My verdict. This is where it gets interesting. All the Enugu State government needs to do is to find a way to ensure the payment of the current DRO. It can choose to balance up the difference between the 209 set by NEC and the 160 it has reduced it to by raising bands B or A, that is from 60 naira maybe to 100 naira or so, or slightly adjusting band A upwards, maybe from 160 naira to 180. Or you can encourage more subscribers to onboard to band A at 160 naira per kilowatt hour. More subscribers will be metered, and this will reduce energy theft, which is the big elephant in the room. With good thinking, it can even wipe out Abuja's subsidy and earn that as revenue. Have you heard of rent financing? That's where a landlord gets investors to provide his or her rent upfront and asks the tenants to pay a monthly rate, which provides a nice return on investment. The challenge lies with our policy formulators. Don't just think outside the box, destroy it, and think without boundaries.
Emeka, you should have been available.
Very, very good.
Yes,
one.
the Minister of
Where will Ikeja Electric come and do what Enugu Electric is doing?
Well, they've actually done that. Yesterday, I used to recharge for Band A. 44 kilowatts per hour. That is, if you want to do 10,000 naira.
Yeah.
Now, 10,000 naira will give you 49.5 kilowatts.
I did 100,000 yesterday. Yes. They have not sent me to
No, it is. So I guess it is no longer 209 per kilowatt.
It's like 175.
It's like 170, 180. So and they've not. The states actually, Lagos State, for example, has not come to that.
They've not announced it.
Yes, to where it is supposed
to.
No,
but I subscribed. I did 100,000 naira on 1st of June, and I had 0 units. They gave me 570. As opposed to the 444 that 100,000 should have been, you know. Yeah. So I thought, they have reduced tariff because I calculated it was 175 naira per kilowatt per hour. But by, was it 26th of June, the same 100,000 naira, we were back to 444 units. Yeah. So it kept on undulating. Now I did 100,000 yesterday. They've not given me token load.
No, maybe. They are testing the water because other states want to do it. By the way, why do you need subsidy from the federal government? Why do you need subsidy?
When the federal government is already funding these states, they have enough resources to undertake and care for their people.
Thank you. Simple.
Since that's where
Tell the federal government, let's monetize the subsidy. Because by the way, it's not as if the federal government is giving you money. What it's saying is just like
you just pay
a
less.
supplier comes to you. A supplier comes to you. Okay, these goods are worth 100,000 naira. But okay, I'm going to give you my costs. And my cost is 39 naira 2 kobo. Take it. Whatever you do with it, it's your business. If you like, you can sell it at 40 naira. If you like, you can sell it at 200 naira.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Now, in that way, if the states are creative enough, that is a big opportunity. Because what it means is that, you see, they can actually scrap band A or band whatever.
No, they shouldn't scrap it.
I'm coming.
Please scrap it. Give us 24 hours without the time.
No, I'm coming. I'm coming to somewhere. If you remove, because band A is discriminatory. If you remove band A,
but it's like there's no subsidy on it.
Yes, now they took out band A. They took out subsidy.
Because there are 40% of band A makes up 40% of the customers of those consuming electricity.
Those willing to pay.
So yes,
willing buyer,
willing seller, and those who are metered. So if you take good care of that band,
yes,
then you will also, there are those you have put into band B and all the rest who are not even really happy about being on band B to E.
Like police barracks.
They are ready to pay.
Police barracks.
No. Police barracks.
Police barracks.
No, I'm not talking about. No, what I'm talking about, first of all, are willing buyers.
I know what you mean.
That's the first level.
If you take care of them,
there you can recoup your entire.
That's how capitalist nations work. That's how capitalism works.
Have we gone capitalist full scale?
We need to.
But that's where we are now.
But that's where we are. We're a market-based economy.
The only place where we take subsidy. When you say subsidy is gone, what's that? It's not capitalism. It's capitalism now. When subsidy is gone, it's capitalism. You are saying that everybody go and.
We thought we were against it. We thought we were. Are we no longer against it?
No, we are against capitalism because capitalism itself does not have a soul. You don't do capitalism when you have poor, widespread poverty.
You are agreeing with me.
You need a touch of welfareism and.
That's what I know.
But that is about for me. Why are those people poor? And why the people
general masses
poor?
now?
Why are they poor? And why do they remain poor?
There are a lot of factors.
Why not?
They love their poverty.
See, when they have no education, viable skills.
Good.
You understand? People are habitually lazy. People don't have skills. There are some families that have conveniently raised 10 generations of poverty. You understand? And it takes a lot to break through from poverty because the hangover is strong. It's heavy. That's why they say there's a thin line between poverty and madness. So before you get them, okay, look at the X generation, my generation, the most unfortunate generation in the world.
Oh God, I've abandoned you to this
generation. That generation struggled with their parents, struggled to make life ends meet with their parents. The moment they left their parents, they're about to start up their life. Their children now arrive. You understand? They now start to care for their children. So my generation never had any sense.
We have suffered though.
Yes, any sense of enjoyment in this country.
Please, I'm Gen X.
Is it the Gen Z of today that you want to ask to take care of?
Oh, sorry, I'm Gen Z now.
Is it the current Gen Z that we're saying that you want to ask to take care of children? Have you seen Gen Zs that have given birth? They will just throw the child somewhere and walk away.
To nannies.
Yes, their children is an afterthought because they have mental health issues.
The Gen Zs are
not a patient generation.
So for me,
they can respond to me in their program.
What I think is that if you can deal with the factors that promote and sustain poverty, I think you can, just like what China did, lifted 800 million people out of poverty. And don't forget.
But while China was doing that, China handed over a skill set to them. Good. You cannot empower people
without giving them something to do.
Without giving them a skill set. What we do here is we say market trader money,
10,000 that they will eat.
No skill set.
So now,
So that's not the way.
Looking at what
Buhari said he was going to take 10,000 people out of poverty. Why he was alive?
No,
but he then took 10 million into poverty.
Looking at what Enugu State has done. What can we draw
That's
from
creative economy. That's the future. It's called smart governance. That's the future, where the state will look at what the federal government is giving,
Are we
what the
lobbying
state,
this governor?
what the state can do.
What about the governor? What about the
It is
system?
not sustainable.
No, why do you think it's not sustainable? I gave a model.
Yes.
I gave a model.
Okay.
Lagos State government has been talking of people paying rent monthly.
Which is not sustainable.
No,
we
it is. I will tell you, there's nothing. You see, poverty is not a realistic proposition by any way. So I don't even want to be associated with it. I'll rather turn a direction of running away from poverty. Now, what am I saying? I gave an example of rent financing.
Yeah.
It is a growing concept. It's a growing concept whereby you turn your property to a commercial investment. It's not just the usual rent, bring and then if what you are expecting, from your tenant over a year, let's say 100,000. Yeah, let's say you're expecting, if they pay you 100,000 naira at once. You understand? Look, if you factor in for depreciation and all that, within 1 year, how much will that money be worth? But if you get investors, who pay into a pool and they pay that money up front, then your tenants, as they are paying, let me tell you, the money they are going to pay, one, you have already got your money ahead and you have hedged for inflation. So what they're going to be paying will be going to the investors, and they have a monthly pool of funds coming in. And the economy, the money keeps circulating.
The reason why I say it might not be sustainable is because sometimes it's very important we compare what we do with what other countries have done. Since the end of apartheid in South Africa, the government of South Africa took it upon themselves to do what you see Enugu State is doing to black South Africans, where they gift them everything, they start businesses for them, everything is subsidized for them. What that has done is
create
made them
laziness.
very lazier than they were before.
But you are talking of subsidy. I'm not talking of subsidy. I'm talking of using
Hours, they're not giving anything now.
Turning it around creatively.
Hold on. Hours, they're not giving anything.
No.
It's just this light Enugu State. Yes. What is the state government doing? Delta state government have no plan for any child or youth in that state. So how are we going to get lazy? Rather that we are poor because the government does not prioritize the citizens. The government must take care of this. That's the law itself. Now, the way they don't take care of the citizens will not differ. If they want to do everything for them and make them lazy, that's the government business.
Thank you.
But if the government want to give them skill and match it up with empowerment and see that they are trained and they are generating, then the government is creating.
Make more people productive.
The South African own is so bad that I've been to South Africa. It's so bad that they give what they call pregnancy allowance. If you are a teenager and you get pregnant by mistake, they give you allowance to sustain the pregnancy. So why should more people not go into that net when perhaps there's succor that if I can access funds that I wouldn't have if I'm responsible. So why should I be irresponsible? I'll be responsible because government will take up my responsibilities. You understand? So that model, the South African model, is bad. That doesn't mean government should stay out because citizens cannot sustain themselves. It's not possible. It's not possible.
The reason we form government, you cannot build a primary school yourself. You can't build a hospital. You can't build the road. Well,
and you need all those facilities.
Some citizens will build the road, But so we form government where we pull together our resources,
our tax,
creatively. So you have to balance.
Take care of basics.
You have to balance that the very wealthy, are not just getting richer and the very poor are getting poorer. And that's the role of government. Balance livelihood and ensure that every single life is protected and given basic rights. Rights to life, rights to education. That's what government is for. So it's for them to find the formulas that work.
Very true.
And the conversation continues. Juror Emeka will present his case titled Emilokan Syndrome is the weed growing in our backyard. Right after this break. Please don't go anywhere.
Middleman. 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 Middleman.
Thank you very much for staying with us. My case, Emilokan syndrome, is the weed growing in our backyard. The Emilokan ideology, once a mere campaign slogan, has now mutated into a political culture rooted in entitlement and power at all cost. What began as a declaration of ambition is fast becoming a norm that threatens Nigeria's democratic values. Across the nation, defection from opposition parties into the ruling APC are on the rise, not because of shared vision or ideology, but also driven by self-preservation and political gain. In this climate, loyalty is auctioned, ambition overshadows principle, and the welfare of the people is sidelined, like has been observed in Delta, Imo, Benue, Akwa Ibom, Ebonyi, and across several states in Nigeria. This growing culture of conquest, exemplified by Tinubu's political style, encourages opportunism and erodes integrity. Like weed in a farm, this mindset spreads quickly, aggressive, self-serving, and consuming resources meant for genuine growth. If not checked, it will suffocate sincere leadership and leave the nation with a harvest of disappointments. My verdict: this isn't just about politics, it is a reflection of how unchecked ambition can overrun purposeful governance. Just like in agriculture, when weeds aren't removed, they take over. Nigeria must decide whether it will nurture values or let them be choked by the Emilokan effect.
Emilokan, it is my turn. I don't know about it. I've pretended like the Tinubu government has not been in existence in Nigeria for the last 2 years. I zoned out of Nigeria because I didn't think that
in your imagination.
I didn't think that we were going anywhere.
We are not going anywhere.
You know, anytime soon. And so I don't see anything to even criticize about the government because I'm so indifferent to everything about it. And for the Emilokan phenomenon, it's exactly my same sentiments. Because how do you just, look at 200 million people and say it is your turn? Your turn to do what? You are the one who said power isn't served a la carte. How can you believe that it is your turn? Because, you formed a coalition with Buhari, and Atiku, and because of that, it's your turn. To do what exactly? To just come and dance or just come and exist you know, in our space like Buhari existed.
A coalition that destroyed Nigeria.
Look at President Buhari. He looked like he was dying in 2014. By 2017, on Nigeria's watch, we had improved his health so much. He stayed in London on our bill for over 100 days. Just barely 2 years out of government.
You know the kind of treatment they get?
Yeah.
They reworked him.
They take out the old blood completely.
Old blood, yes.
Really?
They
Bring in a
reworked
fresh blood into the system.
But-
And the person change. A recalibration of the human person.
Okay, so what 2 years after?
On it takes a country, a rich country, to treat that kind of.
So 2 years after, did he
No
not
wonder
still
they
die?
thought it was.
Yeah, he died because Providence will always take its cost, but he died at a cost, a huge cost for this country.
Anyway, I think that this should be the last time that we ever hear anyone say that it's their turn. You know, politicians should aspire to truly serve the people, and they will not, except we demand service of them.
Yes.
The ones who are in power now, we ought to hold them accountable and demand good governance from them. Whoever is aspiring after them will then realize, these people are not joking, no. You can't just come and be telling them, you know, hogwash. They're going to hold you by your jugular. Unless and until that, like I said in my own case, we're not going anywhere.
A day is coming when, like the last samurai, they will give an order that the police will go chase the protesters and the police will turn around. That day is in the future. That day when everybody will be fed up by the system, because we are going to get to a point where we'll get grounded, you understand, where everything will come to a standstill. Once everything comes to a standstill, then everybody will take up whatever it is they want to take up to change the story. And
we will not remember
and that is the revolution.
Our agreement with poverty.
Yes, at that point, you are not seeing your past. You are not seeing anything. You want to change your story. You understand?
You just want to leave.
You want to change your story. You know, it happens in this when you have revolutions.
Yeah.
You know, it happens where people are pushed to the limits, where they have seen it all, they have heard it all. What they want to do, what's in their head, is that their story should change.
It happened in the Arab Spring.
Yes.
Kenyans are warming up to it.
Their stories should change. When we get to that level, we will really change Nigeria. It doesn't matter how poor we have been in the past.
Look at with this rebasing. You saw Nigeria went to number 4 behind Egypt, behind South Africa, Egypt, Algeria.
Current rebasing.
Egypt and Algeria. Egypt and Algeria.
Nigeria
Arab
that
nations.
was number 1 in 2014.
Arab nations. So you can see that the Arab Spring also did a lot to recalibrate those systems, those economies.
Very true.
Emeka, you know, just to share a little bit of, because the reason I thought about this topic, Emilokan, was very symbolic to me. While my teller was designing clothes for me and desired that I made this cap, he asked me what design I wanted. And I told him, we were just thinking about different designs. I said, okay, just do the handcuff chain, Emilokan, you know.
Insignia.
Broken chain.
Yes.
Insignia.
And the reason I did that was I wanted to carry out a social experiment to see what people thought about this months after the election. Guess what? The only mistake I did that day was I didn't have someone else to hold onto the camera for me while I walked down the road, entered lots of ShopRite, Jendor, lots of places that I went to. And I was just observing what people felt. Everyone that looked at me was like, looking at me strange. Like, this man, what's wrong with him?
Are you mad?
They were, it was about 2 persons that had the courage to come meet me and say, you don't join them. They didn't know me from anywhere. They just met me and said, you don't join them, now what for you? And I want to believe the reason why they weren't violent was because we were in a better place where
In a
everyone
civil
should be,
environment.
to maintain the civility and all. But I saw that anger, that innate anger in them. Like, why would this boy represent somebody that they felt? And it was across board. To be honest to you, not just amongst, I saw people, natives, Yoruba people, who had the same feelings.
Yeah,
Had the same feeling.
But our Yoruba elders are telling us that he's taking the right steps.
It's really not, because this is a social experiment I carried out and I saw it.
Not Yoruba elders, few people.
Okay, few Yoruba elders.
Yes, because you know why
They
I
are
say
in my
so.
family.
You know why I say so. The elitists, No, you see,
Your
why I
family
say
is
so, because
elitist,
there's a guy on social media now that have this Buhari 2027 banner.
Yeah.
That it goes about to shops. It's a content.
Tinubu, yes. I've seen it.
Tinubu,
Yes, I've seen the video.
Tinubu, yeah. When he gets to shop, he will not tell Mama that Mama should please, he has not eaten since morning.
Oh, I saw the
Mama
one
should
woman
give him
nearly
something.
beating.
He has sons all over his body now, and he's still doing it.
One woman nearly beating.
For one shop,
One Yoruba woman was speaking Yoruba. So he's carrying this, and he's still asking for what.
That's the level of discontent.
Honestly,
you understand? That's out there. Because of that's what a brand represents. If you have a brand,
the worst thing
that
you can do to a bad product is advertise it.
Is to advertise it, especially when the product has helped to change people's lives negatively, consistently for over a period of 2 years. Then you now come out and put it on and say, you know what? This is where we are now. This is what we are celebrating.
Well, these few Yoruba elders, they must be very powerful. Because all I hear in my ears is that he's taking the right steps. A big power. My uncle looked at me. My uncle is going on 80. I looked at me and said, is this a bit that people are always shouting? And that you have to just suffer for a little time. Well, hopefully these right steps take us in the right direction finally, because we can't see any light at the end of this tunnel.
You can't say a step is right when people are dying under that step. It might be true that
what are my own elders saying?
It might be true that the best solution is to remove subsidy, but when you remove the subsidy, how long will the consequences? How long will the consequences drag before we actually get to this Eldorado? Is it even Buhari could not survive the removal? You understand? Could not survive the removal. Your own party, the chieftains, they could not survive it. And then you are still saying that it's the only way to go. It's the only way to go. Even if it's the only way, should all of us die before we get there?
Then who will you be leading when we are
that's what I'm saying. So I am a strong believer of subsidy. Pay it as long as you have refused to change it. Continue to pay it. Because now that you say you are not paying it, the money you say you claim to have saved, where's the money?
Yeah, buying private jets.
So it's disturbing.
And true, like VeryDarkMan would say, Baba, there's an opportunity for you to make good. Don't feel that people do not like you. Don't feel that people like you, while in reality, they don't. That is the truth, and that's where we would leave it today on the Middlemen of Jurors. Remember, if we don't speak up, we are just the background noise in the symphony of silence. Join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Until we meet next time, stay safe, stay informed. This is the Middlemen of Jurors. Bye-bye from us.
Middleman.